Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming. And we're going to start this out the same way we always start out this room, and you all don't know this, but after worship, every week, I sit up here where you are, sort of, and they sit there, and the way we start every week is me saying, what do you want to talk about? And then they get to ask whatever they want, and we talk about it. And so our youth are here. You've heard a little bit about Camp Generate and their experience. And so this is your chance to ask them whatever you want. It doesn't have to be about Camp Generate. Probably not whatever you want. But it doesn't have to be about Camp Generate. It can just be about like life as a student, a youth living in our world, and how their faith is easy or hard, or what the experience is. But I'm going to sit down, and we're going to wait for one of them to talk and ask you all a question, and then whoever wants to answer it can. Make sense? Yeah. All right. What do you guys want to talk about? The mic should be good now. Thanks, Dan.
That mean we have to use it?
It would help. Just so everybody can hear.
Okay, my name is Rhonda, for any of you that do not know me. I've spoke to some of you personally, and some of you I probably haven't. But I guess after hearing you speak this morning, and Clara, I'm an emotional person. When I talk, I cry. I've spoke to some of you, like I said. I've prayed for some of you, and I hear you say, pray for me. But what do you really want me to do? Do you want me to say, here's my phone number? Because I consider myself a pretty good rug burn prayer person. I spend a lot of time doing that. Like, it seems like, would you like to have my phone number? What is it you really want me to do? Do you want me to say hi to you every Sunday morning? Do you want me to ask you certain questions? What do you really want me to do for you after what you've experienced? And the second half of that question is, I can remember my dad saying this years and years ago. Like, I went to an Emmaus walk once, and different people went to different events. You come back and you're super, super, super high. You're flying on a high. But it's not how high you fly. It's how straight you're going to walk once you land. So I want you to tell me how it's going to ground you and how it's going to make you walk straight. But more than that, I want to know what you want me to do for you after this.
Well, I guess I can answer that then. Personally, as a younger member of the church, I love having the relationship with people who have been here for a while, people who work here, people who are only like 2 years older than me, people who are a little more older than me. I don't know. I like having the relationship with people so that I feel comfortable going to you if I need help with something. Whether that's maybe with school or with something spiritual or something that's just going on in my life that I feel comfortable talking to you with. So it's really the relationship aspect, I feel like. It's something we talk about in youth group a lot, where one of the most important things to do is have a relationship with other people, because otherwise, I mean, you're not really going to get very far in your faith if you're just alone. So.
Okay, anyways, I feel like something else that maybe for others, like accountability, probably, like just like asking, hey, like how are you doing, or like have you read your Bible, or when was the last time you prayed? Because like I feel like it might be a little awkward at first, but like after some time it gets like kind of useful. And like at least for me, sometimes I'm very forgetful, or like I rather just don't feel like it. So whenever someone asks me that, I'm like, oh, maybe I haven't, or I feel proud, like yes I have, and it makes me want to do it more, just so I can say yes instead of like being that one person that says no. And to me, that just feels like it makes me feel better that I'm like getting closer with God, and someone's like recognizing that, and that someone's like being proud of me for that.
echo that, and with what Gwen said, just like you asked, like, do you want to say hi? Like, yeah, let's say hi, let's talk, even if it's awkward at first. But I don't know. I know sometimes we like run away to youth group, and it's a little hard, but yeah.
I mean, it's the getting over that hump of awkwardness. Cause like Clara, she's now like one of my best friends, and I remember the first day I met her, we were out on the old playground, the new one wasn't built yet. And it was so awkward because I did not know what to say. I didn't really know her, but we were watching James and William on the playground, and we were setting up for the groundbreaking for the new building. That's what it was. But yeah, it's getting over that first hump of awkwardness. That's hard.
I have no idea how she remembers that.
Just like saying hi to me every Sunday morning, because I feel like that helps me get to know everyone around me. And I feel like also it's kind of hard to talk to people, not like Christians, not like non-Christians, just like a person that could say hi to everyone around you.
Thank you. Off of something Clara says, I want to make sure you guys heard. So a relationship requires both, like, two parties, right? So don't disappear to the youth room. Be around more. If you tend to be a person that is like, oh, beeline to the youth room, be present and be around more where, they can say, hey, how are you doing? Or how's your walk this week? Or was school difficult? Whatever it is, make yourself a more present person for relationships.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a fun question. For those that didn't get to share this morning, what was one of your favorite parts of going to Generate?
It's always fun when it's my turn. Anyways, I love meeting new people so much. Anyone who's met me, it's always like, I feel like every time I meet someone, I always try to make it memorable so they remember, because I may not remember, but I want them to remember. So something really fun, like a lot during free time, I would love talking to other churches, or lunch, dinner, breakfast. I would love talking to other people and just like kind of experience that, because I feel like something great about church camp, yes, like you're worshiping Jesus, but something other is like finding another community or a new community and learning how they see their views. So I feel like a lot during free time or village or any of that, just meeting new people and like seeing what they know and all that was a fun time.
Really liked Water Day.
Microphone.
Probably worship in the mosh pit.
James.
No. Got it.
Just like how powerful and emotional the worship service was, like every day.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, I'm John. All right, I've been to Generate, 4 or 5 times myself, and every time I've been, I've heard like very similar things from you guys, from, I call them kids who are now adults and like married, but the powerful worship was something that I heard and I've heard every single year I've went or when you guys have come back. right? And so some of that, my question is, what made it so powerful? Like, what made it so easy to connect in that emotional, spiritual way? And I'm gonna say, in addition to, so you can't say this part, in addition to just the scale of it, how loud it was and how how produced and great, and like the visual was beautiful, I'm sure. And so in addition to just the like scale of it, what made it so easy to connect to worship? And I might be taking a leap here that you may not think is fair, and you can say if it's not. That's not easy to connect in that way here. Does that make sense?
I think my biggest thing is that at Generate, everybody wants to be there, and everyone is like all in 100% of the time. Like, people are really excited to mosh pit, and we keep talking about mosh pitting, but they like get up right when the song, or right when the artist walk on stage, and like run to the front. And everybody's just 100% present and ready to worship and excited to worship. And everybody's willing to like show emotion and like lift their hands. I know we're Baptists, but yeah.
I liked how when it was a mixture of a lot of fun and like some serious moments. So I could, like, they would grasp your attention and then get into like a serious moment, and then you would still pay attention more.
For me personally, one of the things that I really, really enjoy is like taking a second to just be quiet and hearing everybody else around me sing. And it's really, really great. And another thing is, especially at Generate, when I'm just, especially if I'm back just at my seat, and I can just sit there and be quiet and be in the atmosphere and listen to God. And I'll have my hands up and my eyes closed, and it's like I can kind of hear everything around me and the worship going on, but I am the only person there with God at that moment. It is just me and Him. And that is something that is really special to me. And it also is really awesome to see that while I'm experiencing that, so are so many other people. And I open my eyes and look around, and I see hundreds of other kids worshiping God and being present and listening and opening themselves up for God to use them. And I think it's really awesome.
I think, in a second, I think what you just said at the end is really important. People come to Generate expecting change, and sometimes I think we don't do that here.
Part of it is like to have upbeat songs, because everyone in this room needs a little bit of upbeat songs. Yeah.
Dan, thank you. So the essence, I think about this a lot. And the essence of what Clara said is, here's the thing, it's what you bring. Like, I think through that, honestly, I've been to the real, like the music worship leaders conferences. They bring the like every bell and whistle you can think of is there. But those, and they're the big name singers. And you know what? They're some of the most worshipful, genuine people I've ever seen worship in person. But it's what you bring. And it doesn't matter if there's a fog machine, it doesn't matter if there are bubbles, it doesn't matter if there are lights. Like, if that band came out and they played their heart out and everybody sat there and sang like this, that's what, like, it's not something that anybody there is specifically doing. They're doing, I go assuming that they're there to worship and I take them at face value, and I'm there to worship, and I put in what I put in, and it's to me, it's what you bring, and that's what makes it.
I'm kind of like the same way. What makes worship really special for me is seeing everyone else worshiping. Like, not that I'm not worshiping just as hard as them and I feel it moving just as hard as, like, I feel the Holy Spirit the whole time. But what makes it so special is that I see the Holy Spirit moving through every single one of my friends, all of these people that I have never seen before. I don't know their names, but like the Spirit, it's like a whirlwind throughout the entire room, just constantly. And that is just one of the best things about Generate, is being able to see the Holy Spirit move in everyone there.
I just want to make a request and encourage you guys to do something. Because one of the things I'm hearing is part of why that is the experience is because you're with a lot of other people who look like you and are also excited to be there and like all the same things that you like. We come in every morning, I think, and blessed by this, with people of all ages. So we're not just young people, we're not just old people, we're kind of everything, which I think is it is the church, a more full picture of the church. And so knowing that, we come in with all these different experiences and preferences. And I've been in worship, I've been to Generate, I've felt the Spirit. I've been in worship services where the only instrument we have is a guitar, like out in the woods. Or I've been in a worship service where all we have is a piano and we're only singing hymns from memory. And I felt the Spirit in all of those places, right? And so we come together, and I think the thing that really matters is the anticipation, the like-mindedness that we're all here for the same reason, and we're all here to see and hear and listen to and experience God's Spirit as we worship together. And so the request I would make is be you, be yourselves. And I'm also, I would say to someone else, be you, be yourself. I'll confess, I sat up there when the chair used to be up there a long time ago, and our choir was doing something, and I was sitting there in the wrong spirit thinking, well, this song is bad. Not the choir was good, right? The song, the lyrics, I was just like, what is this? And I looked out, and some of you will remember Dick Wood, and Dick was sitting right over here, and he was watching the choir, and he was just crying. And I've never forgot that moment, because it just hit me. Oh, this song isn't for me. This song's for Dick. It's for us, because we're all a family, even though we have these different experiences and memories and nostalgia. And so bring your energy, bring your anticipation, because we can get so formal sometimes and so proper that we feel uncomfortable when it's not the culture. We feel uncomfortable making noise. We feel uncomfortable, and especially, I don't want to stand up and be like, oh, and then nobody else does it, right? Now it's real awkward, and I feel like a fool. But bring that anticipation, because when other people see it, I saw it this morning. When I went out to shake hands at the door, people were smiling, people were excited, people were happy, and that was your energy and your excitement about the Spirit of God that was infectious. And so bring that, and when we sing a song that you think is boring, look around the room and find someone that it's not boring for, and thank God that they're getting that moment just like you get yours when we share in all these different styles. But just teach, like, lead us by being people who show up expecting to encounter the Spirit of God every week. That's my request.
That actually leads really well into what I was about to say. Last year, no, 2 years ago at Generate, we were in the middle of an evening worship service. Actually, it was just getting started. And they had the fog machines going, and they were playing the start of a video, and the fire alarms go off. And it was pouring rain, thunderstorming, lightning outside, so we all had to evacuate and go into different buildings. The boys went to the chapel, the girls went into the lobby of a dorm that was right nearby. And eventually, they were like, oh, by the way, it wasn't actually a fire, it was just the fog machines. We realized, okay, we don't know that we're really gonna be able to go back into the worship room anytime super soon. So we all went to the chapel, and the band was there, and they had maybe a box, like not even like a cajon thing, just a box for the drummer, and the guitar, and the singers. No, nothing fancy, no lights. I don't even think there was a sound system for it. Power was out. And it was just all of these kids and this chapel that was probably like one section of pews. That's how big the pew section was for the chapel. All these kids in there, and they sang Firm Foundation, and that was actually the first time I had ever heard that song. And so that was really special to me. And it was just an acoustic worship service, and it was just a bunch of these kids in a kind of dark room where we're just still here worshiping God. And it was a really awesome experience because it's one of those things where things did not go in any way, shape, or form how it was planned, but it still worked out. And I think about that a lot, and it's really cool.
Going off of another thing that John just said, and how, like the story of, oh, this isn't, like I don't really feel the Spirit moving in me, blah, 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 I just feel kind of down right now, but then you see somebody else, and you see tears in their eyes. Like the very first night of Generate, like I said in the service, I was feeling it, but Kayla, she was feeling it, and she was already crying, and it was one of those moments, and it made me realize that, it's not just about me, which I already knew, but it was one of those re-aha moments, if you've ever had one, and it leads to, you can say something, or you can ask a question, and the answer might not be what you needed to hear, but it might be what somebody else needed to hear. Or the answer might be what somebody needed to say, or just things like that. It's things that you do can plant seeds in other people without you ever knowing. And so that's why, during Village, I would ask questions, I would answer questions, because you never know what somebody else needs to hear in their life right now.
Spin off of what Grin said, she was completely right. But it was the most amazing thing. And I was glad I got to talk to her. Spirit was just I don't know. I just couldn't explain it, and she knew what I was right there, and I just was glad she was just there to support me and help me talk through it, and I'm just glad to have a friend like her.
Hi, my name's Betsy, longtime Generate widow. One week summer, I lose Dan, and now I lose CJ, and next year it'll be all over, and maybe I get to go with you. My question is, after all the stories I've heard from Dan over the years, you guys have a lot of late nights and early mornings. What would you say motivates you as teens to go to bed late and get back up early to go to First Light and do all those other activities that you do all day?
Into sleeping. Like, yeah, like I'm sure we all like came home, we slept for like the rest of the day after we got home, or as long as we could. But when you're in that moment, when you are there with God, you are there with your friends, and you're like, I would rather be up worshiping, and I would rather be up having these deep conversations with my friends that need to be said than sleeping. Oh yeah, have you met FOMO? That was Mom.
Like, also, oh, it works? Yeah, it works. Anyways, also, like, backing off what Gwen says, like, who has time for sleep, I feel like something else that, like, encourages us is that, for me at least, and probably everyone else, like, we only experience this, like, once a year. So, and, like, I remember, like, one year, like, a lot of people wanted to go to First Light because they haven't gone the other years. And it's just, like, a really good experience, and I feel like it's just, like, you don't want to miss out because then you're going to have to wait another year. And it's just something that, like, when I wake up, I'm like, I don't want to do this right now. But, like, I'm not going to have another chance. It's going to be like, what if I don't come back next year? What if something comes up? It's just that I want to be with God right now and in this moment. And if I don't do it now, when will I ever?
Well, so you know that everyone else is going to be there, and just knowing that you can go and have fun and connect with everybody else instead of sleeping by yourself is just like, yeah.
That's kind of what I was gonna say though. Like, you set an alarm and you're like, and you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, I hate this. And then everybody else feels the same way. So then you get up and you have a good time, you know?
It's the double negative. You hate getting up early and you're super tired, which means you just have the most energy. Yeah.
So me and CJ, she's up there. We would we would have like fun in our dorm, and she'll do crazy things, and I'll do crazy things. But like the thing is, she is the most fun, most crazy person I'd rather have a roommate with than anyone that I talk to. But getting up in the morning, not my thing. I'm a night owl. Mom knows, Dad knows. But the thing is, it's fun getting up and seeing people who actually cared about God in the morning than at late night, because we just have fun at night. Am I right?
Also, there was one night in particular, the whole youth group, besides me or something, because me and Kinsley were just walking around, obviously. They all got McDonald's. I didn't go because going to McDonald's at like what, 12, I don't, what? After midnight with a bunch of youth groups who are probably starving didn't seem like a great time. But I remember I was sitting on my bed and they came in with McDonald's, and I remember I was staying up till 2 a.m. eating and munching in my bed, and I'm like, this is gonna hit in the morning. And it did. First thing I woke up, I'm like, I shouldn't have ate all of that. But it was just something. It was just so nice, you know?
I didn't go to McDonald's.
Yeah, mom has it. No, I'm not telling.
So we were all singing Going Crazy for Neil, which Neil drove us. And we were all like being wacky doodles, which that's how we youth group do it. So, and then we were just like singing Going Crazy. And then the hot mess happened where everyone, like all the food got somehow mixed up. And it was the most hilarious thing ever. Because Asia and Mason were the ones who tried to figure all the food out, but we're like, bruh. Yes.
By the way, just so you know, if you have a question and we just keep yapping, just like kind of step up to the middle and we'll let you speak. Like that's not an issue.
Also, during the order, I never got my French fries. Just said someone ate them, and I was so mad. But I also ate a Big Mac and a cheeseburger for it. But it's okay. Just saying.
Speaking of craziness.
Sleep was, I feel like it gives us the energy to read our Bibles and worship the Lord. So that's the point of sleep.
Hi, my name is Jesus, and I hope not embarrass my kids because I'm sure that I will have some comments right later. But first of all, I just want to bring awareness of what you guys are doing right now. Quite honestly, I feel like this connection is the best part of today, and maybe this week for me at least. Seeing the energy early in the worship, the communication that you guys have with be vulnerable and from aware and also trying to understand that's great. So I just want you guys to be aware that that is awesome. And don't feel like it's awkward, or maybe it is for sure, but for us it's also outward to come here and ask questions or try to talk to you guys. So just, it doesn't matter if I'm old or young as you. It feels awkward too. The question that I have for you is, after this trip, what's next? What do you guys want to do about it? What do you want to share, not only with us, but maybe with others? And what do you want to do different moving forward? That's all.
Honestly, I have no idea. And that's the hardest part about Generate, is having to leave and not really knowing what to do with everything you've learned. Because, you go to Generate, you have a schedule all laid out for you from like 6:45 to 11 o'clock at night. Like you have a schedule. And so you get up and you know what you're going to do for the day. You know when you're going to be specifically focusing on prayer and specifically with a smaller group of people from other churches. You know when you're going to be worshiping, when you're going to be eating. And so coming home and not having that same structure and not being as present in other people's lives, it's hard finding that and finding what to do with that.
So at Generate, me and Asia were talking about something, and I think the main thing as we were going into Generate was guilt, selfishness, shyness, and then when we come out, we feel like more home than we would at like this place or anywhere else, and which it made me feel like here made me feel safe, but Generate made me feel more safe than here. So, yeah.
Thanks, Dad. Anyways, I feel like something for me. I really like spreading the word of God. I realized really young, ever since, if you know what Fellowship of Christian Athletes, I would love leading it and love like doing it, and that's just something I learned. Like, oh hey, I like that. And there was one specific part of Generate that made me want to keep doing it. After was they had during free time they had where the pastor and like the worship leaders, if you were interested in doing sermons or music or whatever, yeah, I don't know. Any kind of ministry, you know? And I remember I came in and they were doing questions and I would keep asking the pastor questions and it's to the point where he's like, no. Which, yeah, fair enough. But I feel like for me, the next step is like, I want to learn how can I be more clear on how to spread the word, or like I want to find new messages to show people, because in my ever since Generate in my notes app, I've just been like doing ideas like or trying to find questions, like really difficult questions that most Christians don't want to answer, and try to find a way to explain it. Because for me, I want to be that person to explain questions. If you have a difficult question about the Bible, I'll be like, oh hey, I actually have that. I know what it is, and I can search up verses and do that. And I just feel like for me, the next step is just to learn more about the word and spread it to people who might not know, and answer those difficult questions that they might have been turned down from.
A lot.
For me personally, since my first Generate, I started feeling this calling on my life into ministries. And so as I've kept going to Generate, that's always been one of the things that I've brought to it is, God, what is, like, show me a little bit more what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to go into children's ministry, music ministry, missionary? Am I supposed to be a missionary? And since my first Generate, he's opened my eyes a little more every time. And this past Generate, it was really like I felt a calling on my life, and I was like, yes, I'm supposed to do mission work. And I don't know if that's I'm gonna go on a mission trip. I don't know if that's I'm gonna go be a full-time missionary, but it's one of those things that I know that's something I'm supposed to do in my life, and so then that's something I can work towards and be able to ask questions and figure out how to get there. And so that's one of the things that I really enjoy about Generate.
Okay, backing off of that, I don't like ever since first Generate or whenever, I felt a calling to just like something in the back of my mind. I'm just like, what if I'm the one like on that stage sharing something? And I was just like, that's never gonna happen. Then, well, it did happen for my middle school. Then the minute they did FCA, I'm like, let me try it out. I loved it, and I kept trying to find things like I want to share about. And ever since then, I'm like, this is something I really like in doing. And like, I see like the people around me when I'm like saying something and they're like all like interested. And I'm like, maybe this is something like I can work towards too. And Generate, it just helps like me realize like, I really want to do this for others.
But I want you all to hear this. Talk to me after this. And if anybody else is like has a similar experience. So when I was at Biennial, I met a bunch of people. International Ministries has an emerging leaders cohort that they're getting ready to start. And it is specifically designed for young adults eager to discern God's calling on their life among a supportive cohort of peers. It's for people 16 to 24, so there is an age. And I can get you information on that and even connect you to some people. There's two other things. There's a event called Hear the Call. That's a on-site event that's supposed to be a similar thing, just to discern if I'm feeling any type of call into ministry, to help discern what is that and what might it be. And then there's another one in Urbana coming up, that one's in October. There's another different one in December in Urbana that is for young adults. They're gonna do like a whole cohort where they pay for these people. But pastors and church leaders are there to pray and talk to young adults they would believe would be interested in trying to discern whether missions is something that they want to do. So I've got 3 different things I can share information with. So stick around, or just make sure I get your name so I can pass it on to you and your parents.
I just want to say I'm very, very, very proud of every one of you. And the way James took a big part in hearing all the stories, hearing Leslie's posts on Facebook, all of it just brings tears to my eyes. And I just pray that forever, forever, and ever you worship God, and you never, no matter what you go through, ever, ever leave or lose God. Ever. Stop.